You're tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly show for video games, movies, TV shows, comics, tech news, and more. Now your hosts, Cody Pennick, Samantha Cross, Sam Dunham, and Josh Harrison.
Hey everyone, welcome to Nerd Overload, your pop and geek culture show that's at least guaranteed to be funnier than Elon Musk on SNL. Boom, got him. I'm Sam.
I'm the bored studio audience.
And I'm a pile of dated Mario references.
That was so bad. That was such a bad one. Sketch.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
We'll get into it, but
later.
Yeah, so thank you all for tuning in. We have a bunch of news to go over this week, but first, let's talk about some things we have been checking out.
Check it out!
Somebody stop me!
Somebody stop me from making all these Elon Musk jokes. Oh, gosh. So did you watch that episode, the SNL?
I watched the Mario sketch, and that was all I watched.
That's all I could stomach. It was the worst thing.
So bad.
You know, Elon Musk as Wario wasn't even the worst part of the sketch.
Yeah. No.
I mean, he was not funny, but he also wasn't aggravating.
Yeah, should we back this up and talk, for folks who don't know Elon Musk? I mean, everyone knows SNL, but so SNL, more times than not, will get actors to do their show, but every once in a while when their ratings drop or something, they'll do gimmick hosts, and it's been happening more and more lately.
They'll pull a weird one out of the hat.
Yeah, sometimes they're good, like Peyton Manning. That episode that Peyton Manning, who is not an actor, did was probably one of the funniest recent episodes of SNL.
He's basically like a sports cartoon man.
At this point, yeah. I remember the Peyton Manning episode, there was a sketch where it was a pre-recorded sketch, which these days have been funnier than the live ones. But it was a sketch in which he was, it started out as like a Big Brothers Big Sisters thing that he was funding, but it turned out it was just an excuse for him to bully children and have them go be street urchins and bring him money off the street and stuff. It was it's hilarious.
So Oliver Twist?
It turned into an Oliver Twist kind of thing, but also there's how those commercials, they have canned stock footage of people playing sports out in a park or something that. Yeah. And he drills this kid with a football pass. It's hilarious. So sometimes it works out like that. I can remember there were a couple others that were not traditional actors, but did a good job. And then you have the folks like Elon Musk, who
he's not an actor or a comedian or even funny.
He is famous for
being incredibly wealthy and kind of weird.
Not kinda.
Yeah. He thinks he's funny.
Yeah, so I guess he had his own team of writers come in to help punch up the scripts because...
Wow.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
How can you go on SNL, but then you know what? I don't like your writers, so I brought my own. I brought my own from home.
Who were these people? Because they
did a bad job.
Good, yeah.
Well, they're people that were paid for by Elon Musk, who then said, I think this is funny. I want you to write this. Yeah, but yeah, the Mario sketch was the only thing that I really kind of sat through. I tried watching some of the monologue, and he tanked that hard. Oh God, I mean, I guess the biggest thing that came out of this was Dogecoin dropped 50% and pretty much bottomed out because of his. How weird is it that we live in a time in which an unfunny money man goes onto Saturday Night Live and then an entire type of
cryptocurrency
tanks. But anyway, so we can guarantee we are funnier than Elon Musk on SNL.
Let me list the things that primarily annoyed me about the Mario sketch.
Let's do it.
As somebody who is way too invested in the Super Mario Brothers franchise.
Sure.
Let's go.
Let's do this.
Why was Princess Peach Italian? Why did Grimes do her with an Italian accent? That's never been a thing. Why did she move weird playing Peach? Like, I guess they were trying to do, like, she was trying to imitate, like, game animation or something.
Oh, but that's not funny.
But nobody else in the sketch did it.
Yeah.
So, like, what the heck was she doing? I guess.
Or maybe she couldn't really move well in that Party City Princess Peach costume?
I guess most of my complaints are about Grimes, actually.
Oh.
But yeah. Also, the jokes were terrible because they were stuff we've seen a million times in Newgrounds cartoons from 2002.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah, Princess Peach cheating on Mario? It's been done.
Mario, but like the mushrooms are drugs.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it was literally a greatest hits of Newgrounds circa 2002 on your television in 2021.
Yeah. Yikes. Not the best,
No.
as it turns out. No.
Hey, at least Waluigi was in there.
Yeah, that was the highlight of the whole sketch. It was Kate McKinnon as Waluigi saying, "I'm not really evil Luigi, more like weird Luigi." And it's like, that's about right.
That makes sense.
That was the best part.
Hey, Nintendo, Waluigi made it on SNL. Where's he in Smash?
And
Next up, Waluigi's own game.
I did appreciate.
Isn't that what Mario Tennis is?
Kinda,
yeah.
I did appreciate that they used the Super Mario Land 2
wiki?
the end castle music as Wario's. They said it was Wario's theme, which, I mean, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, because isn't he the villain in Mario Land?
Yes, that's the first
Mario Land
appearance.
2, and then he starred in Mario Land 3, technically.
And then there was Wario Woods, and
Which weirdly I just played through Wario Land, the first Wario Land the other day.
It's really good, really solid. Yeah,
I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, I guess because the sketch made me think about it. So I went back and played that, and I got all the treasures and everything, and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I miss Pith Helmet Wario.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. I mean, I like Biker Mario from the WarioWare games. I think that's cool. It kind of differentiates him enough from the rest of the cast. Makes him less of a carbon copy of Mario.
Yeah.
Or the Nega Mario.
Nega Mario, yeah. But no, I miss Pith Helmet Adventurer.
And get hit and shrink into like weird gremlin with a mohawk Wario.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised we don't have like Wario and Waluigi sound bites on the soundboard.
We need those. We need the fake Italian stuff that Mario and Luigi do in the Mario and Luigi games.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
What I need to do is put some Captain Lou Albano on the board.
When you do drugs, you go to hell before you die.
What?
You never heard that clip?
No.
It's a Captain Lou clip from an anti-drug PSA, and that is it says if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die.
Mamma mia.
I'm Captain Lou Albano talking to you about drugs. Kids, if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die.
Oh,
Though
man.
I'm pretty sure Captain Lou Albano was on drugs.
Yeah, I mean,
sure,
he had firsthand knowledge, I'm
He
sure.
did, yeah.
I mean, everyone in wrestling in the 80s was on drugs. Coked out.
Allegedly.
I mean, you cannot tell me that Macho Man Randy Savage.
No, that was 100% Randy Poffo.
I don't know. I think he was
He's
more.
the cream of the crop, Josh.
He was
the
more
cream of the crop.
He was more cocaine than man at that point.
Well, yeah.
No, it was
Allegedly.
It was all Slim Jims.
And coffee creamers.
He was chock full of Slim Jim. Yeah. Oh yeah. Rising to the top.
That is probably one of my standout favorite wrestling tirades ever.
That one's up there. There's one that is
I know
actually
the one you're thinking of.
Yeah, you know the one I'm thinking of.
I forget who the guy is.
Steiner math.
Yeah.
Scott
Steiner.
Yeah, Scott Steiner doing math about his fight against Samoa Joe.
You know, they say all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Samoa Joe, and you can see that statement is not true. And then you add Kurt Angle to the mix, you got a 33 and a third chance of winning. But I got a 66 and 2/3 chance of winning, because Kurt Angle knows he can't beat me, and he's not even going to try. So Samoa Joe, you take your 33 and a third chance, minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning.
His probabilities of winning at what was
I forget what it is.
See the three-way at Sacrifice.
But it's like, yeah.
Wait, was Scott Steiner, was he the one that always
He's
wore...
the genetic freak.
But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal.
Was he the one that always wore that stupid chainmail coif all the time?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
He's the one, yes. The one that can't do math. the one that witnessed a murder at the Shoney's that he managed after wrestling.
What?
Yeah, so that's another thing on YouTube. There was like a Canadian like news report or whatever from back like in the early 2000s, I think. And they were like, it wasn't a murder. It was a stabbing. So there was a guy in this like province in Canada, like two guys got into a heated argument. One guy got stabbed. And they were interviewing on the news the manager of the Shoney's restaurant,
right.
that he was shanked at, and it turns out it was Scott Steiner. It was former professional wrestler Scott Steiner's restaurant, the Shoney's, where this man got stabbed.
It was at Sacrifice.
At Sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
His odds of winning at Sacrifice.
You know,
he's got a 25% chance of winning a Sacrifice, but then you take away 26% of Sacrifice.
But then you take my 75% chance of winning, and then add 66 and 2/3%. I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning at Sacrifice.
Steiner math is amazing.
You know, it wasn't until recently that I found out that Shoney's was an actual restaurant.
You didn't know it was a real restaurant?
No, I've never seen one.
It's greasy as all get out.
So it's Waffle House.
You only have at best have a chance of beating me at Sacrifice, Samoa Joe.
The numbers don't lie.
But I didn't realize they were real restaurants. I thought it was something that Rick and Morty made up.
Oh no, Shoney's are real.
Yeah,
they're real. They're like Waffle House in Canada, kind of.
Okay, because I had never seen one.
Yeah, they're like Canadian.
But I've also never been to Canada. So
well, there you go.
They're in the United States too.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I remember seeing them on road trips and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, I watched a movie.
Yeah, what movie did you watch?
I watched the Mortuary Collection on Shudder. And it's one of those horror anthology movies.
That was recent, right? Is
Yep.
that the one with the Kurgan as like the mortuary caretaker?
Yes. Clancy
keeper
Brown
type Clancy Brown,
is the
Ohio's own Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
Also Mr. Krabs.
Yes. He is the funeral man.
He has done many, many good things.
He has done a lot of things.
And he just chews scenery anytime he's on screen.
I mean, he's Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Diet Ron Perlman, and I love it.
His character is amazing, and he's just a creepy old
funeral
director named Montgomery Dark.
Nice. That's a good name.
It's a perfect name.
It's a great name.
It's not his legal name.
Yeah.
It's his death stage name.
And there's like 4 or 5 short stories in there that like link together, and they like make callbacks to each other throughout.
Oh, okay, interesting.
They're not like narratively linked, but there's little tidbits in there to
see. That's the best way of kind of going about the anthology series. I like putting they could be connected, but they're not really. But there's like a little bit of something. Yeah,
and they like get progressively better as it goes too, because he's trying to top each story he's telling this potential hire.
Okay.
At his funeral home, and they're just it's really fun. It's gory and spooky, but also really fun.
Nice.
Kind of has like a Tales from the Crypt kind of thing going on.
Okay, cool.
Maybe not as corny, but I really enjoyed it. It was one of those afterwards I'm just like, that was great. I'm glad I watched that.
Well, cool.
One of the standout ones is it's a frat boy who's all about getting notches on his bedpost.
Of course.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to use protection, so he doesn't, and then he gets pregnant.
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah, the girl gets him pregnant, and that's the twist of that one, and it's wild and funny.
So you watched Junior.
Take that, Chad.
Oh, speaking of Junior and Arnold Schwarzenegger, did you see they officially announced Triplets, the sequel to Twins?
Why?
The third one is Eddie Murphy.
Okay. That makes sense.
That's it.
Okay.
And they are getting Danny DeVito and Schwarzenegger and
I mean,
Eddie Murphy as
none
the
of
third
them are
twin.
doing anything right now.
Hey, Coming to America.
Coming to America
came out.
it was okay.
I didn't watch
Only
it. I
on
haven't seen
Amazon.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's more than what Eddie Murphy has done in the last 10 years.
Hey, Dolomite Was My Name was a phenomenal movie.
That was a fantastic movie.
He should have got at least an Oscar nom for that movie.
I agree. He did a really, really good job in that. So I've been watching a lot of Supermarket Sweep. The old one on
one?
yeah,
Not the new one?
Not the new one, the old one on Netflix. They have a whole package of them on Netflix.
Huh.
And it's just, I don't know. It's something to watch.
Did it take you back to a simpler time when you were homesick from school?
Here's the thing. I never watched it when I was a kid, when it was actually on.
Huh.
This is the first time I've watched it. I did do a little history background into the show because I had to know. Apparently, they filmed a whole bunch of them in the same couple of days.
That's generally how they do game shows.
Yeah, and apparently that set stank so bad because it was all
sweaty people all the time?
No, because the refrigeration was turned off on all of the stuff.
Oh no!
And they never they would do an entire season without changing out any of the stock or anything like that. So those people that in the final sweep or whatever, they're running out and grabbing those big hunks of ham and nasty cheese and stuff like that. That could have been sitting there for 6 to 8 weeks, unrefrigerated, just stinking up the place.
Yeah, if you ever see the power go out in a supermarket, they run out there and cover up all that stuff with tarps and stuff to try to trap the cold in.
Yeah,
because it can get bad.
It can get bad, sure, but no. Apparently, it's by the end of filming one season, the studio reeked so bad they basically had to fumigate the place.
That's what they said about the obstacle course in Double Dare. They just smell like death at the end of the day.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
Just goop and sweat and ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, I read stuff about that with Legends of the Hidden Temple was they would shoot shooting days were incredibly long and
they were
grueling.
18-hour days for the non-child contestants.
Yeah.
Because they would do 2 or 3 episodes. Well, what they would do is they would do 3 I remember reading this as well. They would film 3 episodes at a time. So they would have 3 sets of kids. So everyone would go out and do all of the first round and then come back, and then they would change sets. Everyone would go out and do their episodes, second rounds, and then they would change sets and come back. So they would stagger it, but yeah, it was 3 episodes per filming day. And it was just long, grueling, crazy stuff.
Game shows. Also, Supermarket Sweep they should have called it Products.
Pretty much.
Because that's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's advertisements for products.
It's just advertising.
So is The Price is Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Supermarket Sweep just...
a little more blatant.
Yeah, it's so blatant that it becomes funny.
Yeah, it becomes funny, and it's fascinating to see all of the products and brand names that do not exist anymore. Nothing's coming to mind currently, but there are some that they will advertise on the show specifically, and it just is not a thing. Zap paper towels. What in the heck are Zap paper towels?
It's probably what it's that Blue Fairy one now.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
No. I can't remember the name of it, but it's these real cheap paper towels you can get at Walmart, and it's
oh yeah.
I remember the stupid commercials have this fairy with blue wings and stuff.
Oh, I remember those as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that Family Dollar had a short-lived game show?
No.
Huh.
That's
I watched
awful.
a documentary about it on YouTube, and it was awful.
Oh man.
The game itself just didn't really work, and it was also products. It was Supermarket Sweep, but in a Family Dollar, and it also didn't work.
Yeah.
They didn't test the games and stuff very well, so just nothing worked.
Also, I never understood why in Supermarket Sweep people just didn't take their arm and just clothesline the whole drawer or the whole
the whole aisle, yeah,
whole aisle into your cart.
Well, it's because you could only pick 5 of one thing at a time. That was the thing.
The secret rule.
Yeah, and The host of the show from back in the 80s, David Ruprecht, in the interview said, yeah, almost no contestant did this, but a surefire way to win back in the 80s, if you could go back in time and do this, don't go for the ham, don't go for any of that, the big stuff, like the big iconic stuff. Go to the like drugstore aisle, because aspirin
that stuff's expensive. Yeah.
Face cream and like all that stuff,
medicinal stuff
is incredibly expensive. And he said, yeah, if anyone went over there and like started grabbing deodorant and stuff, game's over. They won like every time.
That dude wore some wild sweaters on that show.
He did. Oh gosh.
Was that all you did?
That was pretty much it. I did also watch. I'm glad you mentioned YouTube documentaries. There's a guy that is. It's not Defunct Land, but it's basically him ripping off the Defunct Land
kind of. Yesterworld.
Yesterworld. Yeah. He did a thing that went up a day or two ago about the Black Cauldron.
I watched that too.
It was super good
up until it got to the deleted scene stuff. I didn't watch that because I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah. I kind of stopped paying attention at that point as well. But it was really interesting to see like all of the tumultuous stuff that went into the Black Cauldron.
It's a good movie. Like,
I remember liking it. Yeah,
it's definitely like one of the weirder ones before Disney really started putting out weird ones.
It was the last of kind of the dark era. Because Katzenberg came in and pretty much cleaned house, and that's when you got Little Mermaid and But no, that weird like middle era of Disney stuff with like the Rescuers, Aristocats.
You mean back when they just recycled footage like crazy?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and traced their own work.
Yeah,
every time.
Hey, it's a legitimate art style,
and it saves money.
It's the Disney way.
Yeah, like if you go back to like any of the '70s Disney films, Robin Hood. Jungle Book.
Oh, there was like a shot-by-shot comparison I saw the other day.
It's multiple times.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Like, it's nuts. Like what they do, especially between like it's Robin Hood, Jungle Book, and I want to say Aristocats is real bad about like combining things.
It's just kind of that era, you know.
Walt wasn't there to tell him to cut it out.
Yeah. And if he were there, he'd be too busy worrying about the future with his theme parks and stuff.
He'd be too busy trying to create his totalitarian swamp government in Florida.
Yeah.
With his seat of power in the Pirates of the Caribbean.
I like that Yesterworld guy's content when he's like actually delivering the information. Mm-hmm. But boy, his like openings and when he tries to be funny, it's just like, oh my god,
they're not the best. And his delivery sometimes, every once in a while, like you could tell like Kevin Perger from Defunct Land, he's reading his script, but he at least it sounds like a natural discussion kind of,
and he has that kind of like dry cynicism about him that works.
But Yesterworld guy, every once in a while, he'll deliver a line that comes out like this, and he'll do it 5 times in a row, and it doesn't have that natural kind of cadence to it, and it comes off kind of fake. So I don't like it as much as Defunct Land, but he does really good stuff.
Yeah, Defunct Land episodes come out like once a month, so you got to get your weird esoteric information from somewhere.
What is it with Defunct Land versus Michael Eisner?
I don't know.
That guy hates Michael Eisner. It's funny. It's really funny. But like that whole second season of his show, he took so many shots at Eisner. It was kind of great.
I don't know.
Because Eisner did so many like weird things. Honestly, I think he was just throwing everything at the wall at the time.
He was just trying to see what would stick.
Yeah. But he did so many weird things, like that extraterrestrial ride.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I rode that ride back in the day. It was horrifying.
I never rode it, but I remember when it was in Disney World. I remember it.
I have never been to a Disney park.
Oh,
you're missing out.
Yeah.
Like even when I was a kid, like a real little kid, and we lived in California, we didn't even go to Disneyland.
Oh man, well, Nerd Overload field trip.
Yeah.
To Disney World.
I mean, I've only been once, and I was like, a little too old for it. Like I was like right past the perfect time.
Gotcha.
But not quite so teenage cynical that I didn't enjoy it type of thing.
Yeah, I've been a couple times. I went when I was definitely in that age range. Went once when maybe I was a little bit beyond that, and once as an adult. And it's great to go back as an adult and kind of enjoy things. You see it a little differently. You get to see the strings a little more that you kind of miss when you're a kid and everything's just magical. But no, really good time. Really good.
I want to see the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
Actually, I've never been to Florida, period.
Well, I mean, you're not missing a whole lot in that regard.
You're not missing much, but that's where Disney World is.
Yeah.
And Universal. Well,
Universal's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Universal's great.
Universal's really cool.
Yeah. I would love to go back and check out Universal again. I was maybe a little sick during my one trip to Universal, but so kind of missed out on a bit of that.
Got to go before Simpsons Land is gone, because I imagine its days are numbered as a Disney
kind
property.
Of imagine it. Yeah. Well, if that's the case, that's where they'll put Mario World in, and I'm cool with that. That's fine.
That's a trade up in my book.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though I also do love The Simpsons quite a bit.
With an asterisk, because the last handful of seasons, maybe not so much.
Oh, there was a new Maggie Simpson short on Disney Plus, because sometimes there's a couple.
Oh yeah,
of those.
they'll do that.
They did a new Star Wars themed one, and it is just awful.
Really?
It just screams of Disney brand synergy. And then we tried to do some jokes.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah. If they were to end The Simpsons at this point, would you be sad, or would you be just kind of go, okay?
I think I would be
time.
Indifferent.
Yeah.
There was a while there where I was like, I don't want a world where there's not new Simpsons, but now I think I wouldn't feel one way or the other.
I have missed so much of it. There have been more seasons that I haven't watched at this point than the seasons that I had, and I was a religious Simpsons watcher for years and years.
I mean, we were too, especially when I was growing up. It was like every new episode, we were like hitting it. We would talk about it at school, like me and my friends. Like I mean, that was back when like TV was a culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been that way in a long time. Most shows anybody talks about anymore are either really old shows that are on streaming services, or they're streaming exclusive content
that everybody talks about for 2 weeks and then never again.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I had like the first 18 seasons on DVD. Like I had like all of the DVDs for the longest time, and then eventually it was like,
yeah, I've watched like 1 through probably 8, like probably 3 or 4 times through.
Those first handful of seasons, I can almost recite the commentary tracks on those.
Yeah.
Because the commentary tracks on those episodes were really good.
Oh, yeah.
They were like second to none.
Stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But
and then I'll go and I'll watch it, or I'll listen to a Talking Simpsons about the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I feel like now with The Simpsons, I'm kind of in like the mindset of, okay, like I know it used to be super culturally relevant, but it hasn't been for a really long time.
It's overstayed its welcome.
Yeah. Like it definitely falls in that category of shows that I think are good, but have gone on way too long.
Well, you know that saying, die a hero or live long enough to see
yourself become the villain.
It's kind of like that a little bit.
Family Guy's the villain, though.
Family Guy is the villain, but Simpsons, but you know what I mean. Simpsons, the shine has come off. Honestly, and I've said this before, and I'll probably say it again on the show because I have a goldfish memory about things I talk about on here, but I truly believe The Simpsons should have ended with the movie.
Oh yeah,
agree,
that would have been 100%. A perfect capper
100%
for the series.
And if they wanted to, just do a new movie every couple of years.
Sure, yeah, do a new movie, do like a holiday special. Continue to do the yearly Treehouse of Horror because those are always pretty good. But
even now, they're not the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like once you get to a point and your cast of actors starts to pass away, you might have been going on a little too long.
And the thing is, like, I still watch the Fox animated shows, but not The Simpsons, not Family Guy. but I'll watch Bob's Burgers every Monday when they show up on Hulu. I'll watch Bob's Burgers. I'll watch The Great North, that new one by the Bob's Burgers.
I tried The Great North. I'm not a huge fan of it.
How many episodes did you watch?
1.
Stick with it for a little bit and it gets better. Because at the first couple, I'm like, this is just bad Bob's Burgers.
That's what I thought.
But it does. The characters kind of
they kind of fit their groove a little bit and they kind of get into it. Okay.
Especially by the season finale. The season finale was really good.
Okay. I'll go back. I'll try that one again.
I watched Bless the Hearts, which is pretty good, but not The Simpsons and not Family Guy.
Yeah. Because
they're done. They should be done.
They should, yeah.
Even when Family Guy was new, I was kind of like, this is okay.
Like the first 2 seasons were really good.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I mean, they were just ripping off The Simpsons, but it was at least...
in a raunchier way.
Yeah, and it felt fresh at the time, but it doesn't anymore.
I think the drop-off on Family Guy can correlate pretty much one-to-one with Seth MacFarlane's interest in the show, because as soon as he started getting into like films or the Orville or American Dad, that's when the interest kind of shifted away from Family Guy. That's when it started going downhill. I
mean, you kind of have that with like Matt Groening and like with The Simpsons. Like
Groening was kind of out of the loop after the first couple of seasons on Simpsons.
It always felt like he'd just show up to like sign off on a couple storyboards and cash his check.
It's like, hey, can I put my Life is Hell rabbits in here somewhere?
And then there was Futurama.
Can you imagine what kind of universe this would be if instead of The Simpsons, he decided to go ahead with the animated Life is Hell?
Like he thought he was going to do?
Yeah.
It would have lasted a season and then no one would ever talk about it.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited for them to do this Flintstones reboot they've been talking about. Not the Seth MacFarlane one, because that's already gone.
That's gone.
Now Elizabeth Banks is in charge of it, I guess.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm for it.
I think the Flintstones deserve a modern reinterpretation. I think that could be very good.
No, I could see that. Absolutely.
It's a living.
All right. Well, hey, guys, you know what? This is the point where we would usually take a music break, but we're feeling kind of froggy today. I think we're just going to roll straight into the news. We have a bunch of it to talk about. So, yeah, we're going rebel.
I've heard from listeners of the show that the music portion is their least favorite part.
I have heard from the Universal Music Group that the music is the worst part of our show. Thanks, Bon Jovi. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into some news. Classic.
Just some Chewy.
Yeah,
that's just some Chewy.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get into some news. Let's pick something off of the big board here. What do you guys want to talk about first?
Let's get the sad one out of the way.
Let's get the sad one out of the way first. Yeah. Okay.
So to kind of like, I don't know, I guess make an upswing in the show, there has been a slightly sad bit of news. Author and creator of the manga/anime Berzerk, which has been going on since 1989, Kentaro Miura, I hope I said that right.
Sounded right.
Sounds about right.
Passed away yesterday.
Yes. Now I don't know much about the animes and the mangas, but I have heard of Berzerk. It is a long-running like action manga.
It's a really dark medieval fantasy kind of grimdark.
I just remember Guts got on a boat and he's been on a boat forever.
They eventually, I believe they did get off the boat.
He did eventually get off the boat? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there was a new animated series not that long ago. There were new volumes coming out.
Right, but this was one of those things where it seemed like it was never going to end, and now it's never actually going to end.
Yeah.
I'm talking about series and franchises that we wish had finite endings, but isn't or won't.
Unless he left some kind of journal or Bible behind for what the story he wanted it to be.
Yeah.
It might not ever be finished, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It's incredibly popular. I mean, younger me was all about it.
It was incredibly influential too. It affected a lot of properties later in the future.
Sure.
The Dark Knight in Final Fantasy is basically inspired by Guts from Berzerk.
Yeah.
Which a lot of players of Final Fantasy XIV, in tribute to him, lined up across the main promenades and cities. Dark Knight characters stood in a line across the entire city, like in honor of him, and it was really cool.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really awesome.
I actually saw it because I've started playing that game, which I don't know why I didn't talk about that on my check it out. But it was really impressive. It was just like so many people lined up.
Really,
it was a very touching tribute.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome.
And bards were playing Guts' theme from the show on their instruments.
See, I love like when online games and stuff have the ability to make your own music. Like Lord of the Rings Online had it. Mordhau can do it. Like you can get a lute and play.
Yeah, I remember looking up tabs for my Hobbit's lute in Lord of the Rings Online and just playing the dumbest songs.
Nice.
I mean, it is very sad. I guess he had like heart complications.
Yeah, it was a surprise thing.
It wasn't like
It was only 50, which a lot of mangakas die at a really early age because they have such grueling work schedules.
They work themselves to death. Yeah.
Kind of as is, unfortunately, with the Japanese culture and mindset.
Right, but I mean, they're also, because they are forced to release comics weekly.
And they're typically working alone.
More than likely, yeah, more times than not. But yeah, no, he'll be missed. That's a bummer. So anyway, let's move on to some happier news. This came out a couple weeks ago, but we didn't do a show last week, so we might as well talk about it. Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. There was a trailer for it, and boy, this movie looks bad, and I can't wait to watch it.
It made me want to go back and watch the first Venom because I still have never seen it.
The first Venom is not a very good movie. It's a very enjoyable movie. It is almost like a throwback to those early to mid 2000s, like Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, the X-Men, Blade kind of thing.
Yeah, but I would dare say it's better in part. Like it feels more.
It's better in practice, but like you don't have the Marvel thing, or to a lesser extent the DC thing, where they're constantly throwing in Easter eggs to other stuff and always trying to tie in a million different things in a million different directions,
which I can imagine feels kind of freeing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, having a Venom central thing without sort of mentioning Spider-Man,
it works in this, though.
It does, but it also feels weird to me.
It works because they de-emphasize the initial villainous parts of Venom, and they emphasize the
anti-hero parts.
The anti-hero and really the weird
nature of symbiotes,
love triangle kind of thing between Eddie and Venom, and yeah,
like it's odd.
It's a weird buddy cop movie where
it is
where both partners are the same person basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked some of the back and forth that was in the trailer. Was pretty funny.
I mean, there are some other pretty good jokes. Like there's a part where like Eddie has to get to the top of a building really fast or something, and like or he has to get down maybe, I don't know, and Venom says something like jump, but then he takes the elevator and Venom calls him an expletive.
Yeah. But yeah, this trailer looks for Let There Be Carnage looks, again, bad, but in a very good bad. They're leading heavier into the buddy cop or just goofy person, dichotomy between Eddie and Venom. They did tone down Carnage's clown hair.
Yeah, because in the end of the first movie, there's like an after-credit stinger where it shows Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, as Cletus Cassidy.
Yeah, and his wig looked terrible in that.
Oh, he looked like Ronald McDonald.
Oh yeah, it was awful because
he looked like Prison Ronald.
like the
Prison Ron.
Yep.
Like the character, in the comics, had very fiery red orange hair, and they slapped a wig on him, and it just looked terrible.
Oh, it looked real bad, especially when you know for a fact
Woody
Harrelson is very bald. But they toned it back a little bit, and that's cool. I'm curious to see where the story goes. They, the cop that they mention that they show in the trailer a couple of times being menaced by Carnage is a character from the comics that is Toxin, the third generation Venom symbiote kind of child spawn kind of thing, who is an out and out hero.
Yeah. It's always weird because there was like the whole thing with like the symbiote whatnot, and some of them are good, some of them are bad,
and some of them just are.
Yeah, and some of them come from Venom, some of them came from Carnage.
Right, because they reproduce. So the symbiotes are alien
parasites,
blobs, goo, pretty much, and they reproduce asexually. So, but they still refer to each other as like a parental figure.
Like
and,
some of them refer to Venom as grandfather, some of them refer to Carnage as father.
Right.
Like Carnage comes from Venom, and so on and so forth.
Right. So and they do have a little bit of that in there as well.
But that's the thing I don't quite understand, because they kind of get into the symbiote a little bit in the first movie. Like their I can't remember their alien name, but
they're basically from a planet of symbiotes.
Yeah, but I don't remember Venom having a spawn to even bring in Carnage in the first movie. Unless that's going to happen in this movie.
That's probably going to happen in this movie.
He's going to poop him out.
Yeah, basically, yeah. but no, I'm looking forward to the Venom 2. I think it's going to be great.
Especially with like how much play the character's been getting in the comics lately, like in the last few years.
Yeah. It makes me wonder what if they'll ever do like any kind of, once Sony has full control over Spider-Man again, if that ever happens again, will we see a Tom Holland Spider-Man and Tom Hardy as Venom in the same kind of
the weird
My
thing,
Two Toms,
like My Two Toms.
Well, the weird thing with that is like in the comics, like Eddie Brock and Peter Parker are like the same age, pretty much.
Right. You know what they could do is they can explain it as, so in the first Venom movie there was a throwaway line about how Eddie he was drummed out of New York for nebulous reason, and they could roll it back and say, okay, well, before Venom, when he was just an investigative journalist, he like did a hard cutting like piece on Spider-Man, and as it turns out, he was trying to take down a 15-year-old, and that sucks. And they basically ran him out of town.
Yeah, but if he did a hard hitting piece on Spider-Man, J. Jonah would have been all about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because J. Jonah hates. Oh, well, canonically, for most of the franchise, he hates him.
He hates and yet still wants pictures of Spider-Man. Anyway, Venom 2 looks good. Hocus Pocus 2, maybe not so much.
Why? We don't need that.
We don't.
Sometimes things can just be one movie.
They don't, not everything has to be a sequel. So they announced that there's going to be a sequel to the classic Halloween Disney movie, Hocus Pocus. It is official, and it sounds like we're getting some, like most of the cast back, right? I mean,
the movie has
the three witches at least.
Yeah. The movie has a finite ending, though. That's the thing I don't get.
You can roll it back.
I guess
it's an origin story. No, we don't know that. We don't know that. It is just called Hocus Pocus 2, and the logo is just with the 2 on it.
I mean, to be fair, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a prequel.
That's true.
/ semi-origin of the first Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah. But that the first Hocus Pocus was really good.
Oh, I love that movie.
I liked it a lot.
It's one of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it doesn't need a sequel.
Like how we don't need another Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
No, we need to see him go to Hawaii. Have his Hawaiian vacation. Like that plot treatment.
Yeah. Beetlejuice goes Hawaiian.
Beetlejuice goes Hawaiian. It's the same movie in a different tropical setting. Hey, bud.
Going back to the moldy oldies.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Not many of our new listeners remember that I have a pretty okay Beetlejuice impression.
Which is just gruff Michael Keaton.
Gruff Michael Keaton. You just talk high and fast, and then you start talking a little bit louder. Beetlejuice. I don't know.
I love Michael Keaton.
He's great.
I really want him to come back. I want Vulture to come back.
I bet Vulture will come back in some capacity down the road.
I mean, he's one of the few Marvel villains that isn't dead.
Yeah.
Welcome to Spider-Man Overload.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I love Spider-Man. Leave me alone.
Did you know they did a Teen Titans Go episode with a Beetlejuice crossover?
Really?
What?
Yeah, he's voiced by the Beetlejuice from the
Cartoon?
No, the Broadway show.
Oh, okay. Okay, right on.
And it's pretty funny.
That's awesome.
And they do a reference to Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian. in
Nice.
it,
Even
so,
better.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, what else do we want to talk about? I'll let you guys pick one.
So we got some teaser images from Kevin Smith's The Masters of the Universe animated series.
That's right.
That's going to be on Netflix, and it's coming soon. It's coming very soon, actually.
That's cool. It looked like He-Man.
Yeah, it
looks good.
I mean, it's made by the same animation studio who did those, who did the Castlevania seasons for Netflix.
So it's gonna look really good.
Which
at least.
is good.
It looks amazing. I'm wondering if it's going to be as hyper violent.
Probably.
I don't know. Kevin Smith did say when he released the images that it was refreshing not working on something rated R.
Because he's working on something unrated.
That's true. I didn't think about that, but
I don't think it's in the tone of the original series to make it violent.
yeah, because it is taking cues from the '80s series.
Yeah,
People forget that like He-Man is so stupid.
It's very stupid
Oh, it's
and
real
very
dumb.
very
Real dumb.
And that's what makes it fun.
very juvenile.
At least for me.
Oh, absolutely. Same
I mean,
here.
I
yeah.
was kind of hoping it was going to be more like, She-Ra with He-Man.
Yeah, that would be ideal, but we're not going to get that.
We're not going to
They
get
weren't
that.
gonna get that.
We're not going to get
No.
that.
I can't. Kevin Smith writing characters with that much depth and nuance.
I just wonder which character Jason Mewes is going to be voicing.
Orko.
That's the first one I thought.
And in one of the images, I'm sitting there, I'm like, they made Orko look really serious. I'm like, man.
It's going to be bad. If they did that, it's going to be bad.
But what if I said Luke Skywalker was Skeletor?
Because he is.
I mean, that's cool, but like Skeletor's voice, anybody can do it.
Right, but what if he decides to go a different direction and not do that?
But that voice is funny and part of the reason why the show is good.
That's true.
I feel like it's going to be kind of like
it's going to be the Joker.
Mark
Hamill's going to do his weird Joker
voice.
His Joker voice for Skeletor, and it's going to fit. It'll be fine.
But I feel like it's going to be kind of like the 2000s Masters of the Universe.
The show was okay.
It was okay. I mean, younger me loved it because I was like, "Oh man, this is sweet action He-Man."
Yeah, this is the He-Man I thought I was watching when I was a child,
right?
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like Skeletor getting his face melted off, and it explains why he has a skull face.
I like that. Yeah, that's good stuff.
But I feel like that's just kind of what it's going to be.
Yeah, it will. I want it to be corny, and I want Skeletor that's like, I'm not good, I'm evil.
So you want the type of Skeletor
nice.
that's going to walk through a teleporting mirror and then reach his arm through and punch the mirror.
Yes. Or the Skeletor that'll carry a puppy with him and act like he doesn't like it, but he likes it.
But he secretly likes
it.
it.
He doesn't want the kids that want to carry the dog to carry the dog.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll watch it. I'll watch this new He-Man thing. I mean, I guess I was never really that attached to the original He-Man.
I kind of wasn't either, but I think I got more attached as I got older.
It makes sense
for some reason.
Sure.
Yeah, I was not might not have even been born when it came out originally.
I mean, I was a Transformers kid.
Or
Transformers was kind of the earliest as well for me.
When it was on TV.
Like, I was a Transformers kid. I wasn't really a He-Man. I was a Transformers and a G.I. Joe kid. I wasn't really a He-Man kid.
I was 100% Transformers kid.
I don't know. I just watched all this stuff when it was on streaming services back when you could watch like all the stuff.
Yeah.
And I would sit there at night and watch these dumb cartoons and laugh at how silly they were.
How badly they're done.
The bad animation. Yes. Yeah.
No color correction.
Not necessarily the bad animation, but just like the
no, give me the bad animation. I want to see it.
Give me the juvenile plot lines and the like grade school level like
philosophy.
Yeah. Have either of you ever seen the spin-off series to the He-Man where he went to space and he became a space barbarian?
No.
The animation is much worse.
Oof.
But it's like once the He-Man show ended, they wanted to continue, like they wanted to keep the license, and they had like a bunch of molds for random space toys. So they whipped together something where they basically turned He-Man into Flash Gordon almost.
So they kind of like combined like the He-Man and the She-Ra from the 80s kind of.
Yeah, it was already He-Man is already kind of
getting that way. Yeah,
has technology.
But this
stuff.
is like him full-blown spaceman, space barbarian kind of, which in itself is a great concept.
Yeah. Man, it just kind of makes me sad though, because the new She-Ra show is so good.
It is. It's
so
fantastic.
good.
Yeah.
Like at sometimes, like the animation's a little.
They did the best with what they had.
Yeah, I mean, it's still beautiful and smooth and everything, and all the characters are written very well, for the most part. I mean, there are some times where I'm kind of like, this feels kind of out of character for you.
Yeah. Well, hey, speaking of treading on nostalgia, they are bringing back Legends of the Hidden Temple.
For adults.
Yeah, but for adults.
Yeah, man. It's going to be great.
It's millennial Legends of the Hidden Temple because we grew up on the show.
Yeah, so
for sad adults who never let go of their childhood.
Hey, I'm there for it.
Yeah,
I
which
think
is
it's going to be great. It's us. It's us. There's no...
I'm about to say, we buy new toys of nostalgic properties.
Look at my house. My house is filled with nostalgic properties.
Look at you, Plan 9 from Outer Space poster.
Hell yeah, it's great movie. Anyways, Legend of the Hidden Temple. It's
not a great movie.
It's great in certain context.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, Legends of the Hidden Temple, it's not going to be on Nickelodeon this time. The CW has picked up the rights to it.
Weird.
And, yeah, which is kind of weird. And also, it's not going to be filmed on a soundstage. It's actually going to be outside with much more elaborate like sets and stuff.
I feel like they're probably just redoing the set pieces from that stupid TV movie that came out not that long ago.
They're probably part of that, but also I think they're going to be adding a little more of like Ninja Warrior aspects to it.
It's going to be a ropes course, and Kirk Fogg will be there
in a wheelchair.
But no, they are going to be keeping the trivia aspect to the show.
They're gonna make full-grown adults listen to a 5-minute story,
yes,
and then repeat and remember things they heard from the story.
They are, yeah,
it's listening comprehension.
Yeah, no, they're keeping with the same conceit where you are getting one specific treasure from history, and they're going to make you answer questions about it, and then be attacked by the temple guards.
Man, temple guards are gonna get punched.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I hope they're wearing protective equipment because they're going to get clocked. How many adults are going to struggle with the Shrine of the Silver Monkey?
Because we've been complaining about it for decades.
Yeah, it's not that hard. It's a puzzle with 3 pieces.
It's 3 pieces,
and the top piece has a long stick in the end of it.
Yeah,
goes through the whole thing.
Should be easy, but no.
You're stressed out.
I was always like, "You kids ever watch this show?"
Makes me wonder if like we're gonna get like adult guts.
Oh, that would be great.
I don't know, because those are all like junior Olympian level like kid athletes.
Yeah,
that's all right. Let's get Usain Bolt
to climb that radical rock.
Yeah, get a piece of that radical rock.
Oh, he won't even be tied to it. He'll just run straight up it.
Yeah, that's right.
Dude's a monster. I
always get Etsy ads for recreations of the piece of the radical rock.
So do I.
And they're like $250, and it's like, but I really want a piece of that radical rock.
Yeah, but it feels less if you don't earn it.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
People don't have to know I didn't.
Yeah, as far as anyone is concerned.
I was on Guts when I was 8.
I earned it.
I won.
I earned that radical rock.
Man, there were so many good like games like on Guts. I'm like, man, I want to play that. like the bungee rope trampoline Nerf dart arrow thing.
I miss American Gladiators and not the Hulk Hogan and
the old one.
The old
with
one
the tennis ball guns.
And
yes,
Laser and Turbo
and Blazer,
and Blaze Laser,
and Tad. I don't know.
Beefman.
Dude, I had a
cannon.
I had an American Gladiators toy set
nice
that I bought from Odd Lots.
That sounds like an Odd Lots
That sounds very
and it was
very
basically the the target shooting obstacle course one.
No, that's awesome.
Like that's like the one. I didn't care about all the other games. I wanted to play that one. I wanted to dodge between barriers and shoot like tennis ball bazookas at some roided out cokehead shooting a bigger tennis ball gun at me.
It would always come on like Saturday morning after cartoons, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll watch this."
So here's the thing. Yeah, it was on after Saturday morning cartoons up to the point where Mystery Science Theater started coming on after Saturday morning cartoons. So it's like fills that same spot in my mind palace in my brain, like.
Where's the $6 million Kickstarter for American Gladiators?
Oh, geez.
Which is weird because I didn't realize that American Gladiators was a rip or a spinoff of a British show that was just called Gladiators.
Sure, yeah.
Until I started watching this British paintball guy and he made a reference to it. I was like, wait a minute.
Wait, what?
Wait, it played like a little clip. I'm like, what?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Oh, I watched, speaking of spin-offs of British shows, there's a pottery version of the Great British Bake Off.
Really?
And it sucks.
Bummer.
I was very disappointed, but something about it is it's just off. It's not as good.
That sucks. Also, the glass blowing show, not worth your time.
Oh, is it bad?
I tried, Jordan and I sat and tried watching it, and okay, so all three of us, we've been in art programs in the past. So when I say that when a glass blower starts talking about how the glass is an extension of how I feel and my soul and like the pretentious BS, like, you know what I'm talking about. It's like the entire cast of that show, every episode talking about how,
The pottery one, they kept comparing it to sex. I'm like, stop it. That's gross. Just make me a pot.
Yeah. Everyone watched the movie Ghost one too many times.
Yeah. But they like bring it up like 5 or 6 times in the first episode. It's like,
Ghost or sex?
No, they do bring up Ghost at least once.
Oh, good.
But sex, they keep bringing it. It's like, no, this is like a British Bake Off show. It should be completely sexless.
Like the British people.
The asexual pottery show.
Yeah.
Pottery Bake Off. Oh, God. All right, well, hey, I'm sorry to have to cut things off here, but we were actually out of time, so let's go ahead and wrap things up. You've been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at Nerd Overload now.
Get your parents' permission, and you can send us an email at staff@nerdoverload.com with questions, comments, whatever. You can also give us a call on the Nerd Overload hotline. That number is 586-372-8020. And leave us a message. We might play it on the show.
You can also find all of our back episodes on various podcast apps such as Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, and for the time being, Spotify.
Oof.
And lastly, I'd like to thank David Pencil for the use of our intro and outro. You can find more of his stuff over at davidpencil.com. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
Go Silver Monkeys.